Welcome to the Tibet Center here at 151 West 30th Street, 3rd floor.
Yay!
Well, we're off it. So we will begin this evening by reading the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West, which you will find in the FAQ section if you scroll down on the Tibet Center's website. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like a waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness. May they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may they spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. Mahan Sutra. Thus have I heard once, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Volsha Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the Dharma's called profound illumination. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas of their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this. Seeing the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form, emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors in consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing, they are not impure or pure, they neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the Bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed. Tadyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamagate Bodhisvaha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that Samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you are taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering of the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. Now we generate bodhicitta. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Okay, let's do a rosary of Om Mani Padme Hum and develop the wish to remove the suffering of others, of all others. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. So, from my notes, we seem to still be on page 10. Sorry? We've been dwelling right here for a while. Indeed, though our very detailed and specific knowledge of external phenomena is an immense achievement, the urge to reduce, to narrow down in pursuit of it, far from bringing us happiness, can actually be dangerous. It can cause us to lose touch with the wider reality of human experience and in particular our dependence on others. So this is since then for 2 times we've been discussing, good evening, this, talking about the influence of AI, talking about technology and our human responsibilities. So I'll read on and then we'll discuss. We need also to recognize what happens when we rely too much on the external achievements of science. For example, as the influence of religion declines, there's a mounting confusion with respect to the problem of how best we are to conduct ourselves in life. In the past, religion and ethics were closely intertwined. Now, many people believing that science has disproven religion make the further assumption that because there appears to be no final evidence of any spiritual authority, morality itself must be a matter of individual preference. Is that what we discussed the last time here? We were discussing the whole idea of morality itself being whether it is a matter of individual preference or not?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And whereas, so what was the opinion? Is morality a matter of individual preference, or is there some...
No, because cause and effect are operating. So a positive event, you get a positive result. Positive and negative, etc. So whether you like it or not,
Whether you
that's
like
the
it or
rationale
not.
for morality to myself anyway.
Whether
we pass the law or not,
you like it or not,
cause
and effect
are always operating. This is a recording.
always operating. Got it?
Agree.
That was the robot's answer.
Whether you like it or not. We should ask ChatGPT what
Yes,
they
how should
think.
those, I did, I asked, no, I asked him how should those noble ones learn, and he gave me a whole, never mind.
Whether we like it or not, cause and effect are always operating. This is Anthony
If you believe
Spina.
in them, but most people don't, that's the other thing. I mean,
Wait a minute. Are you suggesting that it's
I'm
subjective? If you believe in it, it works. If you don't believe in
No,
it, it
no,
doesn't?
no, I'm saying some people, that's not a good reason to give them, they don't, well, I can't see the result of karma, you know, come on, that's a lot of, so then you have a problem convincing them.
They have a problem.
No, they might, yeah, they do. They operate.
Whether you believe or not, cause and effect is there.
See? See? Tell him, please.
She also has ChatGPT. Yeah, but
Whether
but how do
you believe it or not, we can add this. Whether you like it or not, Tony, you said it. Cause and effect are always
So how do you
operating.
counter the argument, I don't see that if I did something nice, 10 lives later I'll get this. So then you counter the argument by saying, well, prove its non-existence. And until you prove the non-existence of cause and effect.
I don't think
You
that the
gotta
people who
at
don't
least-
believe it will accept that as
I
an
know they won't,
argument.
it's tough luck. They don't
Okay.
believe it when His Holiness says it, so. But that's his
Is
answer to things
reincarnation
like
the
that.
same, whether we
What?
believe it or not, we reincarnate, or does reincarnation
I
only
think
work for
so.
those people who believe it?
Well, logically, it looks like it.
What do you think? Reincarnation works whether we like it or not, or does it only
Yeah.
work if we believe in it?
It's one of my favorite, by the way, it's one of my favorite phrases, whether you like it or
If you
not.
don't believe in it, you die, and that's darkness.
I think that a lot of people who don't believe in it consider that we who believe in it, it might work for us, but it doesn't work for them.
Then that you're back to individual choice.
You believe in it, you make that a choice. You don't believe in it, it's still there.
That's the question. Is it there if you don't believe in it?
The choice is being
come
made
back,
by
say, prove
others
it's not.
on you.
Prove it's not
It's just
existing.
like, you know, the law of enforcement. You drove through the red light,
The
what
camel
happened.
coin.
Yeah, whether you believe it or not.
That's right. Good one. Especially in the school district. Ooh.
So yes, I think that whether we believe it or not, virtuous actions have virtuous consequences and non-virtuous actions have non-virtuous consequences. And I think that what we're being led to recognize is whether we believe in past and future lives or not, in this life, as a result of working towards being more gracious, kinder, more welcoming, more generous to others, we make them happy and we make ourselves happy. So that if we just look at that nice little simple situation, we can see that the world becomes a better place as a result of our instigating virtue. And we can take it from there. See whether, as a result of having done that, we might become more prone towards such behavior in the future. So we can do a test. We can start by working towards that and then see whether in 2 months, 2 years, that has helped us go in that direction. Whether cause and effect works. No, we're not thinking about lifetimes. We're just thinking about a 2-year span.
So you're saying that you can't prove that the world becomes a better place, but the mind becomes a better place, which you can prove to yourself. That's what you're saying.
We become happier, and the people around us become happier. Well, let's test it.
So that means for
2 years. We come back in 2 years.
cause
Okay?
and effect, you know, we like need to convince ourselves that, you know, we believe that.
No, don't. We don't. Instead of trying to convince ourselves, we're going to do an objective test. We're all going to work towards being kind to others, smiling when we see people, being generous, and then we'll meet in 2 years and see.
Can you guarantee us 2 years of life, Nick? I'll take you up on it.
How about next week?
What?
Next week.
What do we
No, but I'm. Let's give it real time to. Yeah. Shall we do it?
Yes, give it. You're giving us 2 years, we'll take it. You're a good judge.
Darren?
Where are you?
2 years. You can take everyone's name and address and make sure that they.
Well, the YouTube poll is on now, so we'll see what that says too, in an hour.
Oh, you put the, oh, very good.
So, His Holiness often talks about the fact that we must not expect to see changes in ourselves within a few weeks or months. But if after a couple of years we can look at our general character, and if we can see that we are a little bit happier, a little less prone to get angry or lose our patience or whatever, that's a sign of improvement. But that it takes that long to really. So I'm suggesting 2 years.
Fair enough.
So, in terms of so that doesn't bring into the picture future lives. We're talking about within this life. and but we have to make, part of the deal, part of the test is that we have to make effort. Okay, good. I will work at it too. So here His Holiness is talking about the fact that in this material time, the whole concept of a religious explanation for the way things work, a religious concept, has been really made redundant by science. And, you know, I think we have to admit that there's a certain truth to that. I think that if we look at our understanding of the development of the universe, the development of our existence, science's explanation for these things, we can't really take issue with. I mean, the whole idea that God created heaven and earth in 7 days, and you know, certain explanations for our existence here, it's very hard to hold on to them in the face of scientific, I'll say, facts. There's a wonderful, I may have mentioned this, in the beginning of A Brief History of Time by, what's he called, Hawkins. He's explaining the development of the universe, and there's some person in the audience who says, what a lot of nonsense, the universe is being held up by a bunch of turtles. And he says, and what's holding up the turtles? And she says, it's turtles all the way. And there's, you haven't read this? No? Oh, it's quite wonderful. It's worth, so science has shown us that certain myths, certain explanations of existence are no longer, science is disproven them, and I think we have to accept that. But we can't go so far as to say that science has disproven the validity of an ethical system. Science has disproven the validity of, or the virtue, the benefits of virtue, the benefits of virtuous behavior, the benefits of those qualities of human warm, loving qualities between beings. I mean, the relationship between a human being and a dog or a cat is affected by the quality of the emotions that exist between the two beings. So it's not a human to human. It's not limited to human. It goes way beyond that. I've tried to communicate with flies, and mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are, and I try to have a nice feeling towards them and to somehow communicate with them. And I'm not able to. But,
You can,
sorry?
you can.
I'm sure one can, but I'm not able to.
I have one experience. When I was in my old home, right, there's a lot of mouses, mice, running around. And then I have like chips or rice that placed in my living room. Then they come out like eating, spreading all over. So I asked Mr. Paul, what should I do? And then he said, I'll write you something. And then you use the flowers and then make it flat and then write those drawings on top. And then make 3 to mix up and then do it again 3 times. And then put wherever they are, right? So, but she said, don't put everywhere, but give them one space. Have them, put something, some food or water there. Have them, you cannot kill them, but give them some space, and then food, let them survive. So I do the same thing. And then, what happened? They do. And then I put it under my oven, stove, right? Underneath, and put rice and whatever. And then I put a like certain amount there because I feel like a lot of them over there. And then I talk to them. Mr. Long said, ask them if they have enough for them, and if not enough, left 3 pieces of rice on the floor. When I check, really 3 pieces staying over there. So I put more, and then they don't go anywhere, just go there to eat. It's amazing. And when I think back, you can feel that they are so lovely. They are like feeling the kindness toward them. You don't hate them. That is a very amazing experience. Yeah. But when I move, no more. Yeah, that's it. It's been a
They
while.
will come with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Mr. So, yeah, bring them with you. I said, no, I can't.
So flies I've not managed. Mosquitoes I've not managed.
What did you say?
Yeah.
I just tried to make them understand that I was feeling for them and wishing them well. It was nothing more than that, but
Telepathy.
we didn't quite get there. They didn't say hi back or anything.
They
No.
still bit you?
The mosquito still bit me, and the flies just, flew around my food, and I have work to do.
But maybe it's the mosquitoes and the flies that are being cranky. Maybe they're scaring you and they are going.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
It could be that their compassion is not activated.
Yeah. Put the blame.
There was an article in last week's Science Times where, or maybe it was online, forgive me, but where the scientists had measured the moment of death with the, to validate the Buddhist idea of an explosion of gamma rays out the crown of the head that surpassed any other measurement. So it was a very interesting thing, if I could
This is
figure
if the person has not been breathing, not clinical death, but Buddhist death, when the
Right,
consciousness leaves the body.
right, so they measured the warmth traveling up through the body.
Looking down.
If I can find it, I'll send it to them and they can, sure.
So what we're discussing here, or the point is whether if we, His Holiness is concerned that with the advent of science, people are putting so much faith in science that they are treating it as some kind of an explanation for the way things are, and it's taking on a sort of religious place in their lives when that's really not warranted. It's an explanation for our physical situation, but it's not providing us with an ethical framework of, for how to behave. And I think that's something we all have to think about. Thank you. What are these little things floating around?
Tapioca.
It's ice.
Ice. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They gave me the wrong order.
No, that's sort of fun. That's nice. Thank you. So I think that's something to, we can recognize that science is not a religion. And I think that we can recognize that there is within existence room for a spiritual way. But that's something that we have to individually determine. I think that there was a time when you were raised a Catholic, you were raised a Protestant, you were raised a Jew, you were raised a Muslim, you were raised, that was like part of your community, that was part of your culture, that was part of that created the structure of your belief system. I think that now it is for the individual to establish his or her own system, and we have to go about that in a constructive and objectively critical way, and set up our own system to determine how to behave. I'm saying all this. What do you think? I'm going to have some.
I think that's very astute, because the previous sort of religion, there was this built-in quest for goodness where science is sterile in that sense. It doesn't require goodness or malice, it just is. And so if you just operate on that framework, it's a bit hollow, because you don't have, kind of like when people are throwing out religion, it's like throwing out the baby with the bathwater, kind of a thing, and forgetting to kind of keep certain aspects that were good for oneself and for the community. I think it's in this new world of because I guess people are putting truth above, and because who wants to be wrong? Nobody. So they take the information that is right, but in doing so, they're forgetting to take those past accumulations, whether it was their parents or grandparents, their culture with them, that was also there were still some good things in the pantry here. You got rid of everything when you didn't need to. You found a more faster way to make the pizza, but you didn't. We still have good toppings back here that brought the flavor. So I think that's really important to then kind of get back to.
Yes, but I don't think it's back to. I think that the age we're living in has brought us to a new place, and so it's really establishing our own system of values and our own ethical system. It's new. New in the sense that we don't have to hook it to some old family tradition. We can form it, and the whole idea of secular ethics means that it's not attached to a religion. It's we can establish it based on our logical scrutiny.
But also traditional religion had many traditional forms of religion have the idea of otherworldly reward and punishment. So ethical without being tied to you're going to be in purgatory or in a hell environment. It's a whole different way of proceeding towards people without that, sort of Damocles over your head, and bad things will happen if you're not nice.
His Holiness always said love is common in all the religious message. Then it's a secular ethic. So love is common. We all know that it's a good thing. When the science or spiritual or secular, we know that it's a good thing. So that's a secular ethic. And I think maybe His Holiness is trying to say is to find a common ground without the bias of what we learn in this life, the acquired knowledge that we learn in this life, and unlearn and learn this that's common ground ethic and love. We know that it's a common ground, secular way.
So, and I'm not sure we even need to find a common. I think what we're really working at is my own determining that my own loving actions, kind actions, bring happiness to those around me and to myself. I think that will affect the environment around me. But I'm not trying to create any commonality of I'm just working on, I think that's really important. You're all being very quiet this evening.
It's something to think about. You made a good point.
So, in saying this, I do not mean to. So he ends this thought with, whereas in the past scientists and philosophers felt pressing need to find solid foundations on which to establish immutable laws and absolute truths, nowadays this kind of research is held to be futile. As a result, we see a complete reversal heading toward the opposite extreme, where ultimately nothing exists any longer, where reality itself is called into question. This can only lead to chaos. In saying this, I do not mean to criticize scientific endeavors. I have learned a great deal from my encounters with scientists, and I see no obstacle to engaging in dialogue with them, even when their perspective is one of radical materialism. Indeed, for as long as I can remember, I have been fascinated by insights of science. As a boy, there was a time when I was rather more interested in learning about the mechanics of an old film projector I found in the storeroom of the summer residence of the Dalai Lama than in my religious and scholastic studies. My concern is rather that we are apt to overlook the limitations of science.
That's a key point.
So I don't know how you
That's
feel
a big
about
point, the limitations of science. Think it out. I don't know.
in replacing religion as the final source of knowledge in popular estimation. science begins to look a bit like another religion itself. With this comes a similar danger on the part of some of its adherents of blind faith in its principles, and correspondingly to tolerance of intolerance of alternative views. With this comes a similar danger on the part of its adherents of blind faith in its principles, and correspondingly to intolerance of alternative views. So the scientists who believe something believe that anything that counters it must. That this supplanting of religion has taken place is not surprising. However, given science's extraordinary achievements, who could fail to be impressed at our ability to land people on the moon? Yet the fact remains that if, for example, we were to go to a nuclear physicist and say, I'm facing moral dilemma, what should I do? He or she could only shake their head and suggest that we look elsewhere for an answer. Generally speaking, a scientist is in no better position than a lawyer in this respect. For while both science and the law can help us forecast the likely consequence of our action, neither can tell us how we ought to act in a moral sense. Moreover, we need to recognize the limits of scientific inquiry itself. For example, though we have been aware of human consciousness for millennia, and though it has been the subject of investigation throughout history, despite scientists' best efforts, they still do not understand what it actually is, nor why it exists, how it functions, nor what is its essential nature. This is consciousness we're talking about. Neither can science tell us what the substantial cause of consciousness is, nor what its effects are. Of course, consciousness belongs to that category of phenomena without form, substance, or color. It is not susceptible to investigation by external means, but this does not mean such things do not exist, but merely that science cannot find them.
Right.
I think the Dalai Lama actually became a little disillusioned with science. He did all those mind life seminars, and the consciousness was just not even addressed in a lot of those. Apparently, from people who went that told me, is that nobody had any idea about what consciousness is. Yeah, and therefore they don't even want to talk about it. Yeah.
Well, there were very interesting conferences where they had this wonderful scientist from Max Planck, the Max Planck Institute, he's the person who really, I think, developed the concept of neuroplasticity, the whole idea that the brain can physically change as a result of the effort we make to think differently, and that there is this ability for the brain to evolve, to physically change. We would consider that physical effect is due to something that is the mechanics of the non-physical aspect of consciousness. He relates it all to the actual physical stimuli that cause physical changes within the physical brain. But so there was dialogue there.
Yeah, but they're focusing on the material, the tangible brain. Yeah, they're not willing to go into
They have a very subtle and sophisticated explanation of the way in which the brain interprets and functions that doesn't, their explanation, they feel, doesn't need something beyond that.
Yeah, that's a problem. Sorry. It is a problem, actually. It's pretty restricted. And it might not even be the brain. Isn't it the heart? Isn't consciousness at the heart? And, it's not in the brain. They're looking in the wrong place.
So
Or all over the body, everywhere,
I think we've discussed this, what His Holiness has put forward as a place to look is for a quality of consciousness, very, very subtle consciousness, that might be discernible after the person has died. And so there are teams of scientists at the ready in all the monasteries in South India to go put little electrodes on the heads of monks who have just died to see if once brain function stops, there might be some subtle quality that could be measured to establish that something exists after the brain stops existing. But they haven't. I don't know if I mentioned this here. Did I mention this? The Russian team. You have the American team with Richard Davidson, and then you have the Russian team that's headed by the Russian doctor. I don't remember his name. And they found that at the point when they've done the measurements, and they say that when someone dies, it's not that they've been able to identify anything that remains there. There's no measurable quality of conscience or quality of anything after the physical death of the person who is in clear light meditation, except that the body does not disintegrate. That the body, so one of these meditators who we consider is still engaging in a meditation or a mental action. Yes, the body has ceased, or the physical consciousness or brain has ceased to function. There is nothing measurable in terms of something, except that the body does not deteriorate. And that at the point where we would consider consciousness has left the body, it could be a few days, it can be a week, it can be 2 weeks for the great meditators. At that point, the body, there is a measurable thing, which is that the body deteriorates. Rigor mortis sets in. So that they're sort of amazed that there is this time before that happens. But it's not that they see anything that they would consider to be conscious.
Well, they go by electric charges and things like that, and they don't see that.
They can't find anything to measure.
Yeah, that's the word. That's what I was.
But they're paying attention. So there is communication. There is.
When Kitty Senchov spoke on times for the first chapters, he said he's discussing channels and drops and then flow of wind. He said these are not things that you could see with the normal eye, or only with the eye of meditation. So there's something, well, a way of knowing that the scientists don't have yet, I would say. Of course, I don't have anything, but that's interesting, something to think about.
There was a meditator, or Dr. was he called Harry Benson from Harvard?
Dr. Benson, yeah.
Dr. Benson
Howard Benson.
went to Dharamsala and discussed
Right.
with His Holiness, or that he had heard that Tibetan meditators were able to engage in all these extraordinary things, that they could control their body temperatures and that they could have single pointed concentration and His Holiness apparently said to Dr. Benson, yes, we read about such things, but it's not that I could point to anyone who actually has achieved these abilities. But when I do, I will send him to you. And after some time, there was a meditator. He had actually been a fighter. He had been caught in Tibet by the Communist Chinese, or the People's Army, and imprisoned. And one day he found all the doors open and he walked out of the prison. It was just by chance that the doors were open. He walked out and he walked into Tibet and he joined the Tibetan, there's a division of the Indian Army that is Tibetan. And he became a soldier in India, and he was in Bangladesh. And the chaplain of that division of the Indian Army, the Tibetans, I think this was during the Bangladesh War, the chaplain was a monk from Nangal Monastery, His Holiness's monastery. And this soldier was very inspired by the monk's teachings and decided to leave the army and become a monk and devote himself to meditation. He had this real wish to meditate, and he received instruction from His Holiness, and His Holiness sent him to Ling Rinpoche, the previous Ling Rinpoche, who instructed him, and he went up to the mountains and meditated. And he was sent food, and he was considered to be a fine meditator. And at some point, he was sent to Boston or to Cambridge to be tested by this Dr. Benson. In other words, finally there was someone who had the abilities that Dr. Benson was interested in measuring. And I heard this from the meditator. He was called Lobsang Tenzin, and he told us this, what I'm telling you. And when I met him, he was meditating, and he was being interviewed, and I was asked to take a photograph of him. And I thought I would go up to where he was meditating, but he came down, and it was cold, really cold. And I was all wrapped in woolen robes. And as I was walking to where I was meant to meet him, I saw him walking down, and he was wearing these little thin socks and these canvas shoes, and this is called a zen, and he had a little cotton zen, and he seemed to be floating down the hill effortlessly with a smile on his face. And he told us this, what I'm telling you. And so he went to Boston, and he arrived, and as soon as he arrived, they started testing. And he said they didn't even wait for me to recover from jet lag. They immediately started doing all these tests. And he said they were they put me in a room that was very, very cold, and they put these wet, cold sheets on me, and I had to develop inner heat to dry the sheets. And he said I did it. And then they made me, there was a television screen that was full of all these things, and I had to identify whatever it was that I was meant to remain concentrated on. And I did it. And he said,
Oh boy.
never once did they ask me about the meditation that I was engaging in that enabled me to do this.
Idiots.
He said, these were just side effects of the meditation I was doing, and that's all they were interested in. And he said it with such this sort of jolly, expressing the absurdity of what they were measuring, while he was engaging in something really profound, and that they didn't even.
Did you ask him what he was meditating?
No, I just listened.
Yeah.
We take a left.
Meditation,
You
and
were
where
more
are you
curious?
moving?
Yeah.
Go back there now and get
There was no curiosity? What was it? No?
Maybe there's a code, you don't ask those questions.
No, I wouldn't have asked them, but the doctor who was checking him
Oh, I
out
see. You
should
didn't
have.
feel it was your place to play.
No, I was the photographer
And also a monk, so you have rules.
and
with
also
other
a monk.
monks.
How long ago was this? Maybe?
About 35 years ago.
Wow.
Poor baby.
Oh, you were young. You're only a monk 5 years. Yeah.
Ah.
So
He's still around though, guys.
no, so what I heard was that he had passed away as a result of his having pushed too hard in his meditation, and the channels and the whatever. Now, that's what I heard. Who knows?
Very interesting.
We all die. Oh, you two comment. Science is the modern language for mysticism. Modern times using scientific language to explain reality. This is what modern day people need. So, modern language. You two comment. Science is the modern language for mysticism. Modern times using scientific language to explain reality. This is what modern day people need. So, Patrick,
Patrick.
uh,
Patrick.
science is working at measuring the outside world, or science is measurement, and establishing things to be so as a result of a scrutiny, a system, a method of measurement. What we're working at doing is changing ourselves. We're working at so we're not working at explaining reality. We're working at using the explanations of reality and applying them to ourselves to bring about a change in ourselves from the selfish, unhappy worlds that we are living in to happier worlds, inner selves. So, though yes, science is a modern vocabulary or modern system of explanation, I think that a spiritual practice is one of working towards actually bringing change in ourselves. I don't know, what is your feeling?
Yes. above if it doesn't make changes in itself. Agreed.
So, and before we stop, if you have any comments, I rambled on for a while with the story of Genla Tenzin, the meditator.
The joke is going to say that we have all these instruments now to measure when someone is dying, but we can't go to someone and say, please die, so we can measure. That's what happens.
I think if we lost science, it might not take 50 years, but we'll just say 50 years, we'll be right back to religion.
Wait, what did you say?
That if we all have lost access to science and the internet went away, it might not take 50 years, but I'll just say 50 years of conversation, that we'd be back to religion
We need an explanation.
quite quickly. Somebody would jump on the top of the pedestal and say, I have the answer.
For feet.
So I want to go back to Tony's comment, whether we like it or not, cause and effect are always operating.
You told me that. Sorry, that's your own words coming back.
No, those were your words. I wrote them down as he spoke. So,
We have all the names.
Philip Perkins.
Right.
Philip Perkins.
Yeah.
Philip Perkins, Paul Ekman, Sonam Topkiao, Jimmy Cliff.
Yeah, remember that? The Elgin Theater in the middle of the night?
Viola Fletcher, Dharmendra. We've been asked to pray for tonight.
The harder they come, that movie.
Yes.
The Elgin smoking tea. Yeah, the midnight show at the Elgin. Yeah. Yes. They let me in free with that thing.
So, I prostrate to the omniscient
Omniscient
one.
one.
Thus the
Thus the
Buddha,
Buddha,
Bhagavad,
Tathagata, Arahat,
Samyam Sambuddha,
Sambuddha,
the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavad, the Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely overwhelming with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of Nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from skandhas. He is not possessed with doctors. He is entirely controlled. He is completely independent. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He is crossed the river. He is perfect in all his wisdom. He abides in the wisdom of the Bhagavad who arises in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in ultimate perfection. He dwells in the Buddhi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavad. The holy garden is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavad teaches the Dharma well. It brings completion. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma which is taught by the Bhagavad is revealed properly in the night. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pity. It is trustworthy. It is intended. As for the sons of the great Yama, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with virtual alms. They are worthy of receiving consolation. They are filled with glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue. I prostrate to the top of God. Pure and cause of freedom from passion. Virtuous liberating from the glories. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born and completely pure. The 8 verses for training the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I am associated with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as the discerning emotion arises, engaging myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings, and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When one whom I have benefited with great hope, unwittingly hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my others. I will learn to keep all these practices like violence and equally concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as illusions, be released from the knowledge of passion. Prayer for a swift return. Exalted wisdom of all victories gathered in a drop. Sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes. Guru Loka Tulam. Please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great approach of doctrine, accomplishing from more than the vast ways of aspiration and prayers. Lord of speech of the Pivotal Sons' teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. The holy commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence ends, to abandon your commitment to liberating all beings, we beseech the new son of Dharmakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. And meet the harmonies of fellowship, religious life, and goodness. Please come swiftly as one rivals supreme illumination, full holder of the sage's teachings, and which jewel. Return as the glory of Losang Tenke. Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Kamayana, and Srimati Devi, and the ocean of our protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. Thank you.
very much.
Thank you. So on Wednesday, we will have class in New Jersey, South Orange, New Jersey, 502 North Ridgewood Road, 7 o'clock. And on Saturday, there will be a White Kara Puja in South Orange, New Jersey, 1 o'clock on Saturday.
And the
Thank
train
you.
gets you there just in time.
And the train gets you there just in time, at 12:11.
12:50, something like that.
12:11.
Oh, from here, 12:11, but it can't.
Thank you.